Hey everybody, welcome back to Unapologetically Just Me TV with your good sis. And on today's video, I'm going to give my initial thoughts on A Time Traveler's Wife. Now, the show hasn't ended yet, so this is just my initial thoughts, and maybe through close to the end of it, I might come back and give you my thoughts after watching the whole show. If you're interested in knowing how I feel about this, then keep on watching. As always, remember to like this video, subscribe, hit the bell notification to be the first one to know when I post my next video, and also comment down below. Okay, so I initially wanted to watch it because of I always like to tell you guys why I wanted to watch a show. I wanted to watch this one because the commercials of it, when you're watching your YouTube and stuff, and then the commercial comes up telling you about this new show or movie that's coming up, it enticed me. And I really forgot about it until I was surfing, trying to see what I was gonna watch, and then I saw this was an option, and so I started watching it, and I actually been enjoying it. But here's my one thought, and you guys have to tell me if you think this is a stretch or if you guys agree with me. But watching how Henry and Claire's relationship started, I feel as though it's a little bit of grooming. I know, okay, I get it, okay. Me Too movement, everything, I get it. We're in a different place. But let me tell you why I feel as though when I first watched the first episode, here's spoilers. After this point, I am going to spoil the show. So if you haven't watched it, please do not watch the rest of this if you are planning on watching it. If you're not, because I'm the type of girl who watches a lot of these reviews on shows and movies, and I can watch it because I know I'm not going to watch the show. But if you are going to watch it, I'm going to spoil the show, okay? So don't watch this if you don't want that. Anywho, when they first meet in episode 1, Claire, when she sees him, she's so enticed, and she's like, wow, this is the youngest I've ever seen you. And she goes on, you have a birthmark on your foot, you know. And and he did not remember her. So I was so confused about that because I was like, girl, how do you know him, but he don't know you, but he's the time traveler? I was so confused about how they knew each other. But then we later find out in the episodes that he has visited her 155 times since she was 6 years old. And this is why I feel like it's kind of like grooming, because it's like you have been visiting this little girl from childhood into adolescence through puberty into probably adulthood. He's probably had these interactions with her from when she was 6 until she was probably 19, because she actually meets him when she's 20. You know what I mean? So 155 times. That's crazy for me. And I felt like it was kind of like grooming, because he might not have in it might not have intentionally been I don't want to say he was trying to groom her, but it's giving grooming, because it's like when you meet this girl at age 6 and you're this guy, and from what I'm seeing clips of when they show her family life, even though she's growing up in this beautiful house, and it seems like she got a maid, a housekeeper and everything, it seems as though her parents are very attached. It seems like her mom's going through her own thing, taking pills, maybe for depression. I don't know what. And her dad, like most dads, isn't really involved in her life personally. He's there, and she can knock on the door and he'll be there, but he's not really trying to get to know her, and there's not really a relationship there. So obviously her family life isn't that great. We never really see her hanging out with her siblings. She's mostly to herself. So it's like you are this person that's coming into her life. You're not ugly, girl. He is fine. And you're coming to meet this girl, and you're seeing her every time, and you're talking to her, and you're being nice to her, and you're involved, and you're asking her about her. What girl honestly wouldn't fall in love? You know what I mean? And it's weird, because I'm like, at that point, she's not really choosing. This is not free will because she's not choosing to be with you. You've been meeting her since she was a little girl. She only knows you. She's going to fall in love with you. She's going to attach herself to you. And and also you're telling her things like, you might not have been like, oh, you're gonna be my wife. He does in this like last episode, but at that point she's like 16, so it's like, but like, when she's younger, you're telling her that, oh yeah, my wife's name is Claire, and when I grow up, I'm gonna know your family and everything like that. Like, girl, to me, as I'm growing up, I'm like, shoot, I'm Claire, and your wife is named Claire. Well, does that mean I'm gonna be your wife? Like, I don't know. It's just like, especially when you have these relationships with people who don't come from good backgrounds, who need some type of love and affection, some type of nurture, because they're not getting that from home, it's very easy for her to get attached. And let me tell you the point when I felt like maybe me saying that he might have unintentionally groomed her was right, was because there's this part, and I think episode 2, when she finally meets him, like, it was either episode 1 or episode 2. When she finally meets him, and she's so desperate, because she's been having this platonic relationship with his older self for so long, that when she finally meets him in her age range, where it's like, we can actually be together, this is you in the present, not your time traveling self, she's just ready. Girl, they go to one dinner, and afterwards she's ready. She's like, let's do it. Come on, I've been waiting through puberty and everything. And adult activity happens, and afterwards there's and he becomes a total asshole. And so she goes to sit down at a bar because he's not who she thought he was going to be. It's the face of the man that she's been talking to her whole life, but it's not the same man that she's been talking to. It's not, he doesn't have the same mindset. He's still in that player days of his life. You know what I mean? And so eventually, the older him is time travels into that part, into the past of where they have that argument. And so he sees her at the bar, and he's like having this conversation with her. Sorry, it's dragging, but I need to tell you what happens. And he sits with her, and she's like mad because she's like, I built my libido. I built myself and everything that is me around you. You've been talking to me since I was 6 years old, and I've fallen in love with you, and everything that is me, my sexual attraction, my being, everything that is me, I have based it around you. And now I'm meeting the younger you that I can actually be with, and he's an asshole. So what the heck, man? Like, and when she said that, that's not, I'm I'm basically summarizing it up. That's not what she said for verbatim, but that's basically what was said. And when she said that, I said, see, doesn't that sound like grooming? Doesn't that sound like grooming? Like, for her to say that, it's like she really can't go and meet somebody else, because it's like, oh, here's this nice man. Like, listen, we're women. We like, everything's an emotional level. You don't have to be with somebody on a physical level um for you to basically develop a soul tie to them. So I feel like it's kind of unintentional grooming. Like, it's not her choice. And that's what I feel like I kind of don't like. We can call the relationship cute, and we can be like, oh my gosh, she has such a forward personality and it's cute, whatever, whatever. And he's sexy and we love it. We love to see these people. We could say that, but in the end of the day, she didn't choose to be with him. It's not like they met at 20 and, ever since then they fell in love. It's like you've been meeting this girl since she was 6. And there's even a part after they have their argument where the younger Henry, the one that's in the actual present time that Claire is when she's 20, like, they meet with each other, and they're on the train, and she's like, and she's basically like, "Oh, I like the older you better. That's the one that I want." And he's basically like, "Well, he's been talking to 6-year-olds, so I don't know if I really like him." Like he said something like that. And I was like, you see what I'm talking about? It's weird. It's weird. I don't get that. I don't really get that. Like I get he was saying that like sometimes because he's been visiting like certain points in his life. I can get that. Him going to certain points in his life over and over again, him revisiting his mom's death. I can get that. But you visiting her when she's younger, that doesn't make sense for me when you're time traveling. Wouldn't you just time travel the points that you have already visited, the points where you are alive? Like the points that relate to you, not necessarily her, because you didn't know her when she was 6. So how are you able, like I don't know. It's just weird for me. And what I say, especially to people who listen, to the writers of this book, to the people that make cuties, I never watched it, but everybody knows about the whole cuties scandal. To those young girls who don't want to be seen as young girls anymore, so then they give you sexy, to those people that do that, where you're putting these children in these adult situations. How am I supposed to react to this? This is a 6-year-old girl having these conversations with this grown ass man. She's then turns 13. Then she's 14 and she's going to that age of puberty and dang, I want to get freaky. Like how how are we supposed to react to that? How? I always wonder that. When these people in Hollywood or these people in general put you in these positions where they have children or people that are underage in these adult situations, it's like, how am I supposed to react to that? Am I supposed to watch this scene and be like, oh my God, it's just love? Look at him going into the past and basically having this connection with his wife's younger self, basically kind of like forcing her to fall in love with him because you're meeting her when she's young. You're not really giving her the choice of falling in love with you. She honestly doesn't have a choice because she's known you since she was little. She's fallen in love with the image of who you are. You know what I mean? Girl, there's something about older men that just, girl, you know what I mean? So it's like, where does she have the choice in the matter of who she's with? And it would have been so much more different if he just waited until she was 20 and then they got together, and then at that point she decided that she's in love with you, versus you coming when she's like 6 and 13 and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I felt like that was kind of unintentional grooming because she didn't choose to be with you. She's known you since you were 6. Like, you know what I mean? And you're telling her these things of like, you have a wife named Claire and all of that. Like, I mean, me personally, that would give me hope. I'd be like, wait, your wife's name is Claire and my name is Claire. So do I have an opportunity? And he not ugly, girl, he fine. And especially you being there while she's going through puberty and stuff. I felt like it was grooming. I don't know. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to know your guys' opinions. If you guys have watched the time traveler's wife, you guys tell me. And my question always goes to Hollywood and all these other people, especially even those people like even children themselves, even teenagers who go to that period of time. That period of time where teenagers like, well, I don't want you to see me as a kid no more. I want you to see me as a girl. So I'm going to do these adult related things, wear less clothing and everything like that, so you don't see me as a child anymore. I always have that question. Or when you make scenes like this, I always have this question like, how do you want people to react? How do you want adults to react to this? Because if that adult enjoys that, the FBI is going to knock on their door. It's like, it's not cute. Like, this is not an enjoyable thing. You know what I mean? Like, I was really thinking about that when I used to watch those earlier when I used to watch some of the things that Billie Eilish used to do when she was underage. Now, listen, I'm younger than her, so I can say this. But when I used to watch those things, I used to always think, okay, you're doing this and I get it. You're trying to be all about women's freedom and doing your own thing. But honestly, how is an adult supposed to react to this? Because I know if I know there is an adult man who's enjoying seeing you, act this sexy or wear less clothes and stuff like that, I'm gonna look at that nigga weird. I'm gonna really want to get 911 on speed dial because that's weird. So I feel like I don't get the point of doing that. I'd rather, especially if you're gonna do something like cuties, I'd rather you just get a 30-year-old person who looks 65 to play this role versus an actual child, because it's like, honestly, you can't enjoy that because that's a child, and it's like, oh my god, gross. It just makes you uncomfortable. It's like, oh my god, you know like, I never understood it. I just never understood it. And same thing goes with this scene. What am I supposed to say? Am I supposed to be happy? Am I supposed to like fangirl that he as a grown ass man is going to go talk to his wife when she was 13? Like, am I supposed to be like, oh my god, wow, this is true love? He visited her when she was 6 and probably didn't know any better and created a soul tie with her to where she believed that he was her love, and probably fantasized about her, and probably like couldn't have a functioning relationship outside of him, because you know what I mean, like, she probably could not be with anybody else. She probably waited until she could be with him, because let's be honest, it's like, you probably fell in love with him. I'm not intelligent enough to explain this in a way that you guys would understand, but you know what I mean. Like, she probably fell in love with you, and you were probably the only option. So, guys her age, probably she was not attracted to guys her age because she wanted a man like you. You know what I mean? She probably waited for you. She probably like was like, hey, I might get an option. So she probably was like waiting for you to come about, because she know eventually there's a like there's probably a same age or like close to the age range Henry out there that she could be with. You know what I mean? There's even a part when future Henry comes to her after she goes through a traumatic thing, and she's like, okay, where do you live? Where does present you live? If I can't have you, I'm going to go for present day you. You know what I mean? So it's like, she probably couldn't have a functioning relationship with anybody because she was waiting for you. And I feel like it's kind of like grooming. And it might have been unintentional, but I just wonder, the person who wrote the book, because honey, there's a book out there. I wonder what they wanted us to feel about this. What was the motive around making this part, like having this whole thing where adult Henry is meeting his wife at such a young age, you know like what was the motive behind that? What is somebody supposed to feel watching this? That's what I really want to know. Okay, like, another weird part of this show is like when they show you like the future Henry going back to his timeline. Like, it was so weird for me because, okay, so after future Henry kind of convinces 20-year-old Claire to give present day Henry a chance, because he was being an asshole before, he then goes back to his timeline, and it's like Claire at 28. So I'm like, so this is just 8 years into the future, and they're like happy, and she's like, so what part did you go back to? I'm like, hold down, hold on for a second. This is so unrealistic, because I'm like, if he was a player 8 years ago, and he was out here screwing woman after woman, and he was an asshole, and he wasn't mature, how the hell? And it seems as though present day Claire is having a very hard time trying to get through to Henry, and trying to make Henry the older Henry that she fell in love with, because she's really trying to mold this Henry into the dude who visited her when she was 6, the dude that she fell in love with all those years ago, the dude that she fantasized about, formed herself around. Again, doesn't it sound like grooming? I'm just saying, why do you have to visit her when she's so like, why? Like, I don't get that. Like, I get visiting her like at points of your relationship, like from 20 and onwards. If you wanted to visit her from those points, I get it, because those have to do with y'all's relationship. But visiting her when she's 6 and playing like checkers with her, and like, it seems like grooming. I don't care what anybody says. It's giving me grooming. I'm not saying that he groomed her, but you're not really giving her a choice. You're meeting at her at like pivotal points, especially like when a girl goes through puberty. Listen, yeah, no, I feel like it's grooming. But anywho, I'm just like, how in 8 years did this man mature? See, that's unrealistic. That's unrealistic. For the girls who really know men and have dealt with men, it's gonna take you longer than 8 years to really get through with a nigga. I mean, honestly, maybe we're with us ladies are with the wrong people. But I'm like, 8 years and now y'all have a functioning and great relationship and it's all love here. Come on. I don't believe it. That's a little too short. I didn't believe when I saw that. I said, so it's only been 8 years, and now y'all are at like that happy place. Mm, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Especially if like it seems as though in the beginning when y'all actually meet each other, it's a bad start, and this is Henry as an asshole. I didn't believe it. I was like, okay, girl, I guess. I guess we're going to believe this. I don't know. It's those little things that I'm like, you're not really giving her a choice. And even when they like meet each other at an age range where they can actually be together, she basically, it's like you're telling her she has no choice, because when they get off the train, she's mad at him and she's like, I don't want to do this with you. Like, I don't really want to be with you. She's basically saying, like, he's telling her, you don't have a choice. Because either way, you're gonna be with me. Like, it's just what's meant to be. Like, you're gonna end up with me, even if you like it or if you don't like it. And I'm like, again, she don't got a choice. Like, this is kidnapping. Like, am I supposed to fall in love with that? Like, am I supposed to be like, ooh, yay? To me, it's weird because she don't have a choice. So it's not really a love story. It's a case of grooming. She don't have a choice. You met her when she was young, and now that y'all are grown, now that y'all meet each other again when y'all are adults, you're basically telling her you have no choice. Either way, we're gonna end up together. You know what I mean? At that point, it's kind of like, I feel like if I'm Claire, I kind of give up and I'm like, fine, Henry, let's be together. I mean, if you're telling me I have no choice, but I have to be with you, you know what I mean? And even I feel like when she was 16 and she goes through that whole traumatic thing with that one guy at the party, and then you have Henry, future Henry coming in and saving her and, being affectionate towards her, in that traumatic time and standing up for her, that would make her fall in love with you more, it's like a spell. So I feel like they want us to believe this is a modern day fairy tale and it's all lovey dovey. And I'm just like, listen, it's a case of grooming gone unfortunately right. Because it's like, she ain't got a choice. She ain't got a choice. You met her when she was young, and then when she's an adult, you're telling her that one way or another you're gonna be together. She ain't got no choice. What's she supposed to do? What's she supposed to do? You know? And that's just my initial feelings. I like the show, and I'm gonna keep watching it, but it's like, it's not really a love story. It's not really a love story. And also, my thing about it when it comes to fate, it's like, how did fate choose them to be together? How did that happen? Like, can that be explained? When did fate decide that these two were gonna be together? Like, when did it start? Was it like they met at 20, like in the original timeline, they met at 20, and because they met at 20 and they fell in love, now they're destined to be together, and he's gonna always be around? Like, how? Like, like I feel like with most people, when they tell you how they met their significant other, there's always a point in their story where they're like, this is when I knew that this was the love of my life. This is when we got together. This is what caused us to be together, either because it's a friend or because of an event or whatever. This is the reason why we got together. I'm like, so when did fate decide that these two were going to be together? Because she ain't really got a choice in the matter. I'm just saying, she ain't really got a choice in the matter of who she gonna be with. It's either Henry or Henry. Okay, so I'm gonna try and make this super simple, okay? Because this is gonna get long. Because this is when I fangirl. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you that I had pure intentions when watching this show. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it's not true. Most of the reason that I actually clicked on the video ooh, I need to repent for my sins after this. Most of the reasons that I watched this video is because I clearly saw in the trailers that he was gonna be naked for most of this. I mean, I'm not seeing any of his jewels, but it's the body. It's the body. So a lot of the time that I'm watching this, honestly, I'm really not listening to the dialogue or the plot. I'm really just like, so when you're gonna time travel, when are those clothes gonna dissolve? Because low key, who's ever directing this understands us. Because low key, there be times when he be when because when he time travels, his clothes don't go with him. Nothing goes with him. Just his body, his beautiful, beautiful body goes with it. And let me tell you, that cameraman be getting some of those good angles. Those angles where you really see his abs really nice, where you see his butt so cute. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I'm not gonna sit here and make this whole video about this. I wanna make this quick. But ooh, honey, he has made it to my list. I have a list of select men where it's like, if I see you, it's on site. As in, I don't care if you got wife, you got kids, it's on site. I'm gonna shoot my shot, see if it's there. Like, oh my god, not really, because let me tell you something. I'm probably never gonna meet this man in life ever. So honestly, it's like I'm just talking. Maybe I will. I don't know, but no. So this is just my fantasy. But it's just, oh my god, he's so good looking. He's so good looking, and he has this deep voice, especially when you hear his like real voice. When he's giving you, when he has his actual voice, not him doing like an American accent, but when you can like hear his British accent, it's like, yes, yep. That's what I needed on a good. I think it comes out. When do I watch it? I don't even remember. I think I watch it on like Mondays or Sundays. I don't know. Like the beginning of the week. It's a really good thing for the beginning of the week. And oh my god, his body is so good. Loki, my favorite part. One of my favorite parts is when he's talking to 16-year-old Claire, when she's going through that puberty stage and she forgets to put his clothes out. She forgets to put his clothes out, and he's basically like has the cardboard over his package, and he's basically like, Claire, where's my clothes? Claire, where's my clothes? And you see his, oh my god, I don't know if he was flexing his abs, but yes. Yes. Screw you. Screw you. I just want to say this. It's not her fault. But every time that I see a scene with him and he looks so good, he looks so good, and his voice sounds so nice. I always say, "Fuck you, Ruth." I always say it because I'm like, "Damn you, Ruth," because Ruth's his wife. He has a wife and he has one kid. And I was like, "Damn you, Ruth." Ugh. In another world, honestly. I mean, again, it's just, oh my god. Especially this episode right here where he's being so tender with Claire, and you really get to see older him. Because I feel like I don't know if I was. You get to really see older him, and I really like older him. I get what Claire. I get it, Claire, girl. I get why she's so enthralled with him because older him is so good, so good, so good, so good, so good. I almost watched Divergent because of him. Because when Divergent came out and I saw him, I was like, oh my god, he's so cute. Okay, I'm done gushing over him. But it's just, oh my god. Literally, I be getting my sunglasses on and I push it down a little bit. I cross my legs, I get my popcorn, and I'm like, so when you gonna time travel? Came here for a show, baby. Who needs Chippendales when you have him? Okay? Who needs Magic Mike when you got him on the screen, girl? And I'm just like, I don't know what he uses to like cover up his private area, but it's good, honey, because you know. I'm so terrible. I'm so terrible, but it's so enjoyable. I feel like whoever made this knew what they were doing. First of all, as I'm making this, I think they said, let me search it up. I think they said that they wanted Theo James. I'm searching it up as I'm talking right now. I told you my videos don't have no theme of it. I really think they said. Okay, yeah. I saw it. They said that they wanted to actually. They were considering Theo James to be in 50 Shades of Grey instead of whoever boring guy they had. What's the boring guy's name? Jamie Dornan, whatever. And they wanted him, and I'm so mad that they didn't get Theo because I feel like I would have actually wanted to watch 50 Shades. I never watched 50 Shades. I never read the books. I don't care. That shit is not for me. But maybe if they had Theo instead of boring ass Jamie, because the people that they casted in that were so just so unappealing. But I'm like, if they had Theo, I might have watched it. I might have been tuned in because oh my god, Theo is just oh my god, and his personality is so charming. It's like yes, where do I sign up? I could be a great stepmom. Just give me the opportunity, like I will stay in my lane. Just give me a house 3 doors down from where you live with your wife, and I will stay in my lane. Disclaimer: I would never do any of this. This is just talk. When you're a girl or just a person, you say you talk a lot of shit, and that's what I'm doing. I would never. I believe in marriages and all of that. God, he's so fine. And listen, not all marriages work out. A lot of marriages end in divorce. So all I gotta do is move to London and shoot my shot. But anyway, that's all. I'm sorry. It's just oh my god, it's so hard not to be attracted to this man when he has his clothes off and you just get to see his fine ass body. And he's a really good actor too. He's a really good actor. And then his voice is deep, and it's like he's sitting here, especially that scene when they're getting revenge for the guy who did that terrible thing to Claire, and he's like, and the guy's basically like egging him on, basically being like, oh, she wanted it, that's what she wanted, blah blah blah, right? And then like Henry's like, she didn't want it, and then the guy's like, how do you know? And he's like, because that's my wife, and he says it like that, and I was like, that's it right there, that's it, that's my husband, that's my husband, and I will stay faithful to him till then. Oh my god, it got me when he was screaming. I was like, yes. Okay, I'm done. I just want to add that in because I would feel terrible if I made this video and I didn't let y'all know that I love me some Theo James. And his performance in this is really good. I love it. I love him. Moving on. Okay, we're finally at the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry about that last part where I just went on and on and on about Theo James. It's just, oh my God, I can't. Like, how can I not, you know? And if I were to ever meet him in my lifetime, I would, I would get a restraining order. He would get a restraining order in the next 10 minutes because it's like, oh my gosh. But anywho, this was my initial thoughts of A Time Traveler's Wife. I actually really liked the show. I'm really liking it. I tune in every week, every time there's a new episode. It's a really good one. I really like it. I think Rosie and Theo are doing a really good job. See, I know them. That's how you know I be watching interviews of them off. Like if I like a show, I will watch interviews and stuff like that. Like I actually do like it. I don't really like the whole him going back into the past and meeting like 6-year-old and 13-year-old Claire because I don't like it. I feel like it's a little bit of grooming because I also feel like there's parts, especially where Claire is basically like, I think she's 13, and she's basically like, well, your wife's name is Claire. My name is Claire. Does that mean that, we're together? You know, and he basically has to tell her no, but it's like you clearly see that she's interested in you. Like, and it's not grooming. I'm supposed to believe this is not grooming. Okay. I like to say it's unintentional grooming. It's basically like you might not have thought that's what's going to happen, but that's what happens when you visit your 6-year-old wife. Well, your wife when she's 6 years old, and you develop this connection and this soul tie with her to where, honestly, even if she grows up, there will never be another man who's going to meet up to your level because you were talking to her since, even before she hit puberty. You know, that's the part of it that I don't like. But the actual thing with his mom, that was good. Like, Theo is a really good actor. I like it. Like, I'm gonna keep watching it. I really like it, so I'm gonna keep watching it. And if you haven't watched it, I suggest for you to watch it. It's really good. It's not that long. I think it's like 20, 40 minutes. It won't take you that long to watch it. It's a good storyline. There's a good plot there. It makes me kind of want the book, but But yeah, and if you guys also want me to give you to also make a after I'm done watching the whole show, the whole season 1, to actually give another review of what are my thoughts after watching the whole show, then I am willing to do that. You guys just got to tell me down below to do that. Other than that, I have nothing else to say. This is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.